Hey, I'm Alessio and this is Cinema Talk, and today we will dive into the crowded world of Cinecomics with the always fresh top 5 featuring the 6 movies that came out this year. Yes, 6. So who came last this year? I can already see your faces getting darker and darker, with your eyes getting open, with your breath getting heavy, but please, Suicide Squad fans, calm down. If you're already getting angry, that's because you already know that your movie is broken. You're not a Deadpool fan, they are not even here, they know who's going to be first. But is it? We'll see. And talking about not knowing, do you remember any line from Suicide Squad in the first hour? I guess no, because the first hour is just a funny montage of every character that we will see in the movie. And the only words they will remember are for sure the ones from the music in the background. This might have been caused by the fact that they changed editor multiple times, and also by the pressure that they put on David Ayer, writer and director of 2 good films before this one, which are Fury and End of Watch. He had to write the movie in just 6 weeks, which might be fine for a movie that is small and you have no pressure, but it's for sure not enough for an ensemble piece like this where you need to work on it more than this, maybe even 3 months to get it done, also because it has a hard premise to sell, which of course didn't sell. And why? Because the story and the characters are sketchy, and most of the time you are wondering what's happening there and why they're doing this. The whole fault is to be put on Warner Bros. They wanted to rush this movie, pointing just on householding actors and beloved characters from the comics like the Joker and Harley Quinn. Another problem can be found in the villain, played by Cara Delevingne, and her brother, played by a guy. They are too powerful for this team. I can understand that it's a suicide mission, but this will then be even a match for Batman, this will be a match for Superman, and like Superman they are too strong. And when you're not as powerful as Superman, the only way you can go is the kryptonite, and this time the screenwriters had to use their ultimate tool, memory loss. It's very powerful, they use it even on Apocalypse because again, he's too strong. I can understand that the Enchantress and the Apocalypse lived their 1,000 years, and it's common for old folks to forget stuff, but they looked quite alive and kicking to me. And seriously, they made their movie worse. There is much more to talk about this movie. The reshootings, the comedy falling flat, Jared Leto getting hungry for the cuts made on his character. But I want to keep it quick, so I will pass on the worst position possible, which is the 5th. Why it's the worst? Because no one remembers who came 5th. Everyone will go back to watch who's the last, but the 5th, it's always forgotten because it's usually not the worst movie, but many times it's the most boring. And that's the case with X-Men Apocalypse, which is the most forgettable movie this year. It's the most boring, and it doesn't even make you angry like Suicide Squad would do. It doesn't have nothing too bad, but nothing too cool either. It had all the chances to be good, but it failed to deliver, because it had 2 good movies before. I loved First Class. It was going to have Oscar Isaac as the villain, which was amazing in Ex Machina last year, and it also had Chase McAvoy. Look at him, he's in a queue. He will make every movie better. And since I want to forget it, let's move to the 4th spot, which is held by the blockbusting mess of Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. If anyone watched the review I made when the movie came out will remember that I liked this movie, mostly because I had no expectations and didn't watch any trailers, so it was mostly surprised. But since then I changed my opinion. Now I see its flaws that are concerning mostly how they got to fight and how they solved it. In my opinion, they put too much in this movie. We should have had a second Superman movie, a Batman movie, and also a Wonder Woman one. They should have done the same with Suicide Squad 2. We should have had a Deadshot movie, a Joker where we will meet Harley Quinn, and also an Enchantress movie before, because those are the main characters and we lose 1 hour trying to set them up and explain their history. And also in those 20 minutes that we get for each other, I think we should have come out a nice movie for the 3 of them. Because El Diablo, the boomerang guy, the Japanese girl, and also the guy who climbs the stuff that dies within 5 minutes are not so important, and they could have been introduced in this movie without problems, but losing that hour was the worst decision possible that they made for that movie. The biggest problem is that Warner Bros. Is not learning from this. Next year we are getting the Justice League movie, and we don't know who Aquaman, Cyborg or the Flash is. Yes, maybe you can know them from the comics, but people who just watches the movie will not know them, and we will even lose another hour doing that again. The only hope I have on DC next year is Wonder Woman, that it's just an introducing movie which should be fine. The Justice League, I think it's going to be bad again, but I will be happy to be proved otherwise. And talking about who can set up their movies, there are the 2 Marvel movies that came out this year. I joked about it, but Deadpool is going to be first, so we just need to decide who's second. In my opinion, the 3rd place goes to Civil War. Why? Because I didn't enjoy it much. It was trying too hard to make us believe that the UN or whatever organization was trying to have power on them, which is silly. Do you see the United Nations stopping any other country that kills civilians during war operation? I guess you don't. Which is silly, because the Avengers will intervene just when there is a worldwide crisis, and the UN would use them or call them in that moment anyway. So it's just weak, the premise that they use in this movie just to set up the Black Panther, which could have been set up in any other way. But this movie has the most memorable action scenes. The one with the chasing and the fighting in the air are the best this year. Are they enough to save the movie? No, they are not, because it's just 15% of the movie. Like the Batman fighting scene in BVS, it's not enough. I understand it's an action movie, but the action should not only be discriminant to judge this movie. It also has a problem with the villain, which again had a weird plan and it was weak. And as I said, the huge setup party just for Black Panther. And I was happy with the Spidey, which is not enough to save the movie. Which, I mean, it's still good, but it could have been better in my opinion. The 2nd position is held by Doctor Strange, as we know. And why I put it there? Because as Deadpool it feels new and it feels fresh in a way. And since many of you might not have seen the movie yet, I will try to avoid the spoilers. And the good parts of the movies are the great amount of good jokes and the action scenes, of course. But not all of them, because many of them are ruined by the fact that the director chose the shaky cam approach, which as Jeremy from Cinema Sins will say, shaky cam is shaky and it doesn't make you understand what's going on when Cumberbatch is not using his magic. We know Cumberbatch from the Sherlock series and we know how funny he can be there, and the characters might be similar because they are very smart and sort of arrogant, but it doesn't seem the same, which is good because Doctor Strange is a very important character for the MCU, and it's good that it doesn't look the same. There are good things that we have Benedict in the MCU, who is a great dude. He likes to have fun, he didn't abandon Sherlock after his success, and he also challenges himself with Oscar-worthy performances like this one. The rest of the cast is very good also. We have 3 Oscar nominees, 1 Oscar winner, and also Matt Mikkelsen, which is a great actor, and I was very surprised that I saw him in this movie. Now about the casting, I can understand your concerns with Tilda being the ancient ones, but look at it this way: who is always playing the mysterious and mystical master of any cult in the movies? He's always an Asian guy. Did we want the stereotype again? I guess no, but they gave it us anyway, with the other masters all being Asians and secondary, which makes the choice to have Tilda as the ancient one even worse. The other surprise was Chiwetel Ejiofor for not being the bad guy. He played a bad guy multiple times and I was sure that he was going to be in this one as well. He also has the name of Mordo, which is a classical villain's name for Marvel, so I was even more surprised. I guess he won't be this time. But the main issue with this movie is that it feels incomplete to me. I think about it since I finished the movie, and I think this problem will grow going on with the MCU. I feel like at the end of this decade, in 2019, when the second Infinity War movie drops, the MCU will start collapsing because it's too big. It's like the Roman Empire. You can be powerful, rich, and scary as much as you want, but you will fail, keep growing. And that's what's going to happen with the MCU. It has to start a completely different narrative arc if it wants to keep going, because most of the people will start not understanding what's happening in this movie because they had to see at least 20 movies before, which is the main issue with this franchise. I still wanna watch most of the upcoming movies from the MCU, but many people might not find them interesting if they didn't saw all the others before, which is a great problem that Marvel need to deal with very soon. What doesn't leave me unsatisfied is my first position, which is Deadpool. I have all... What? Why are you not looking at me anymore? Anyways, as I was saying, I have a will to rewatch it even now. It feels new and it broke a gate for rated R superhero movies, which might be the only chance for Fox to keep going in this genre. But which are the best parts? For sure the action, but mostly Ryan Reynolds' performance and also the writing, which is very funny and very clever. But what's the main issue? The problem is the story. I know it's still part of the writing, but it's because the story it's very simple. It's just a normal revenge/love story. Is it necessarily a bad thing? I guess no, but it worries me for the sequel because the sequel won't hold up with a story like this again. It will have to have a good one because the joke won't hold it up again a second time. But for what it means to the genre, this movie has to be first. We also know that the director Tim Miller dropped off the project, accordingly with an insider because of different vision with the Reynolds and the writers. They wanted to keep it simple, more indie, like the first, and he wanted a big budget fest. And I think him leaving is a good news for the sequel. And about Tarantino directing, you should stop. He will want to write it, he will not want the Reynolds and the writers getting on its way, and he will not have the movie ready for when the studio wants it, which is a big no-no. The perfect director for the sequel, I think it will be Edgar Wright, the director that should have been the Ant-Man one, which dropped off because of problems with Marvels, because he didn't want it to put cameos or set up in this movie, which would have been even better because the best scenes from Ant-Man I think are directed by him. And the scene with the Falcon in Ant-Man, it's useless, it shouldn't be there, the movie it's good and nice even without it, and that's just because Marvel wants to put their setup everywhere and sometimes it's annoying. But why Edgar Wright? Edgar Wright because he's good with visual comedy, which the first lacks a bit. He has, but it doesn't convince me too much. And also because he would like to get along with the writers and Reynolds, and also he would have more freedom than he had with Ant-Man for sure, because Fox has nothing to lose at the moment. So I would like you to start using the hashtag LETSMAKEITWRIGHT. And with this I hope you enjoyed my new style of video with a bit more of comedy. I hope you understood my points, though you necessarily didn't agree, and if you didn't, leave a comment down below explaining me why. If you want to see more, subscribe. That's all I had for you today, folks. See you next time.